tuning in. And as you can see by the show title, we're doing this show right before Mother's Day. And the show is about Mother's Day with narcissistic mothers, or shall I say, in some cases, without narcissistic mothers. So everyone has a choice. You can either celebrate or not. And we're going to talk about that and how to handle your mother, especially if she's a narcissistic mother, and what you can expect and what you can expect from yourself and other family members, and how to navigate Mother's Day with a narcissistic mother. And so this is a call-in show, everyone. So please do that. I'd love to hear from you. 323-524-2599. And I love talking to my audience. As a matter of fact, I really love my audience and all the comments that you put up there. And I know sometimes I have the time to respond. Sometimes I don't, but just keep talking to each other because we are a community. We are a community of people who are on a journey to healing. And as many of you know, I created a pathway to healing called the Be the Cause mind map system, and it is a pathway to healing from childhood wounds and also addressing narcissistic injuries as one of those childhood wounds. So I want to go over it with you so that we could put it in the context of narcissism and narcissistic mothers and how that plays out in your psyche and how it reverberates in the family. And then we could take some Q&As after we break it all down. And for those of you who I've made announcements in the past, healing from narcissistic abuse is a video that I am currently working on. I filmed it all, and then I realized, you know what? It just wasn't good enough. And I have to explore that. Maybe part of my core belief is it's never good enough, but really I want to be proud of my work. And so I decided to hire a production company and get this healing from narcissistic abuse visually beautiful and warm and informative and creative and very visual, so that you can take this deep dive in and really be impacted by it and realize some aha moments and paradigm shifts. And with the help of a film crew, I think that I can accomplish the creativity and the visual effect that I want, so that you could be the beneficiary. And when I get close to releasing it, of course, I'll let everybody know. So in the meantime, we're working today on healing from narcissistic abuse of a narcissistic mother. And what can trigger somebody off more than anything is Mother's Day. So I don't know if your mother is deceased or if your mother is alive and in your life, or perhaps you've gone low contact or no contact with her. But in any case, Mother's Day is a big day. It's a national day, and it's supposed to be an acknowledgement of your mommy dearest. And she's supposed to be the dearest mommy, but in some cases, she ends up being mommy dearest, if you know what I mean. Okay, so with that said, let's go through the mind map and figure out how mothers and fathers blueprint us and how they create systems gone wrong and human disconnect, and how we end up hurting because of their lack of empathy. And that is really the key to narcissistic mothers and family members, is that they lack empathy. I call it they're missing an empathy chip. And although they can act out behavioral empathy or even cognitive empathy, it's often the case that they're just not feeling it. So if you look at the mind map, you can see that it is divided into 9 panels, and the top 3 represent the wounds of the past, the reactions to those wounds, and how we encode them. And if you look at panel 1, you could see the darkness in the background and the shadows shadowing over the light. And that's a metaphor for your true authentic self that was supposed to be nourished and nurtured and attuned to and mirrored and given all of the psychological nutrients necessary to form a healthy human psyche, although that usually isn't the case in many, many families. And those shadows overshadow our potential to be the best of our best, as Maslow puts it, to manifest our highest self and self-actualize. So if you look at those shadows, they represent wounds of omission, things that were not done for us, wounds of commission, things that were done to us, wounds like sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, neglect, smothering, and then, of course, narcissistic abuse, which I define as the wound of apathy. So when we are wounded and we have apathetic mothers, apathetic parents, what happens is that we do not have a correct love bond. So in our panel 2 formation, which is our amygdala and our reactions to the wounds, you could see that it's a metaphor for cracking up. We crack up. Why do we crack up? Because in order to be sane and develop a sense of wholeness and sanity and connection, we need to be connected to our primary caregivers. So you can see that the cracked glass is a metaphor for a disconnect, a sense of a splintered and pained psyche that is reactionary. It reacts in fight, flight, freeze, fawn. Those are some of the ways the primitive brain reacts. And then what we do is we encode a bunch of horrible messages into our psyche. And these messages I refer to as the psychoviruses, because they are messages that we soak in from our parental role models, mainly our mothers and fathers. And those messages then ingrain in us. We buy into them because we're children, we don't know better. And so we develop horrible self-worth and self-beliefs and worldviews that are not constructive to living in a safe and a blossoming environment. So these core beliefs could be anywhere from you're stupid, you're unlovable, you are a loser, and this goes on and on and on. And if we think back upon our mothers and the profound effect that mothers have on us, we could start thinking, and I'm inviting you to start thinking about your childhood wounds. How were you wounded? Who wounded you? What kind of reactions did you have to these wounds? Did you shut down? Did you get angry? Did you repress your feelings over time? Did you develop anxiety? Did you develop a sense of low self-esteem? Did you encode in there these messages that I'm talking about and others like them? So I want to hear from you because I want to understand your blueprint and how your narcissistic mother created this system gone wrong, which led, of course, to your chaos, your defense mechanisms, and your breakdowns. So if you look at panels number 4, 5, 6, you could see that this is how it goes. We are activated and we are triggered, and our triggers lead us down the dark hole of chaos, defenses, and eventually we can't hold on any longer. And our defenses, no matter how much we try to smoke our way out of our feelings or drink our way out of our feelings, or use porn to medicate our feelings, or sleep too much, or whatever we do to defend ourselves against our painful feelings, at the end of the day, these defense mechanisms oftentimes lock us in a kind of a psychological prison. So this is a metaphor, panel 5. The defenses are metaphors for these psychological prisons, and I refer them to them as isms. So maybe the yellow orb represents alcoholism, and another one represents a different kind of ism, maybe detachmentism or pornism or overeating-ism. So all of these defenses, because they are not really sustainable and because they eventually break us down and poison us, end up really causing more problems. So the chaos turns into a breakdown. And this breakdown can be in the form of a health breakdown, a mental breakdown, a trip even to the hospital because of anxiety or because the emotions get uncontained. And so you could see that when we don't have the foundation of mental health, we cannot sustain a system that will support our psycho-spiritual and physical health. So that's why I created the mind map, so that you can actually track this and you can see for yourself, oh, I see my panel 1 runes of verbal abuse and physical and sexual abuse and neglect and smothering and apathetic parents. Look what it did to me. And then you can understand more clearly why I say in the beginning of my book, which hopefully you all have copies of, either ordered it off of Amazon or downloaded a free copy, which you are welcome to. My book, Be the Cause, Healing Human Disconnect. Healing human disconnect being the emphasis here, because we at first are not the cause of our own healing, because we're at the effect of this human disconnect. But as we turn the system around through therapy, we can be in the driver's seat and be the cause. So the system was really built to flip it around so that you are no longer at the effect of your family of origin and at the effect of these horrendous blueprints that you ingrained into the fiber of your being. So if there are any calls, please call in. I want to hear from you. I want to hear about your narcissistic mother. And then we're going to go into how this applies to your mother and what to do about this on Mother's Day. So Mother's Day is coming up on Sunday. Of course, if you're watching this as a rerun, then Mother's Day is every Sunday at the beginning of May, or at least the first week or two of May. So here we are at the cusp of Mother's Day, and many of you are thinking, I don't know what to do. I really don't have that many feelings toward her. Actually, not only do I have no feelings toward her, I have really hateful feelings toward my mother. And this is not atypical when mother doesn't mirror, attune, offer unconditional love and protection, and put your needs before her own. So how are you supposed to love a taker? You're not. Okay, so if you do, then I congratulate you on some level for being a very big soul and moving past resentment and past the feelings that oftentimes come up in therapy, feelings of betrayal, feelings of disconnect, feelings of downright hatred and anger toward your very own mother. This is something that is actually quite taboo in some cultures to even mention. Certainly, I've had patients who are from cultures where it is so taboo to talk about mommy dearest in any way, shape, or form that's negative. They would excommunicate the child. And thank you so much. We have a call in. So, hi, you are on the couch with me, Dr. Judy.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Janet.
Hi, Janet.
And I'm watching live at the same time. I am dealing with being a parent, having my own daughter,
yes,
and having a narcissistic mother who insists at 80 that her needs come first. She will make comments. My daughter is in second grade, and I'm a single mother. And my daughter's in school, and my mother will sit and say, because she is the matriarch of the family, that my daughter should stretch her bedtime to do whatever she wants that day.
Okay, so your mother has already shown you narcissistic qualities, yes? that correct?
The thing that's tough is both of my parents are narcissistic. My mother's covert, and I didn't realize this until about 5 years ago that you can have two narcissistic parents. Every therapist I went to assumed my father, who was very, loud, narcissistic, they thought my mother, who is a small statured person, was this innocent, shirking violet.
Yeah.
And so I have had so many therapists that just kept saying, we can treat you. And I just kept saying, I'm going into a cycle of misery. And they said, oh, when you get married, when you have a kid. Now I have a kid and I'm terrified because I know I can't put a boundary out. It's like I'm preparing, like, am I going to say I'm sick? What am I going to do to get my own needs met for Mother's Day?
Great question. So do you have a husband or a partner that's helping you raise your daughter?
No, I am actually a single mother by choice, in part because nothing, the way I was raised, I had to be a certain way. When that didn't happen, I had to make a choice if I wanted to be happy or I wanted to follow what they wanted. And I decided I wanted to be a mother. And that's what really woke me up to seeing that how I was raised.
Okay,
so no, I'm completely on my own.
You're on your own. Okay, so one thing you know, because you've lived it, especially living with two narcissistic parents, is they steal the light. Okay, so they
feel the what? I'm sorry, did you hear that?
They steal the light.
They steal the what?
The light. They steal the show. Okay, so if it's Mother's Day, they're going to steal the show. And that's just a given because
absolutely,
they're a black hole. They have what I refer to as the hole in the soul. It's insatiable. And whatever they can grab from you and your daughter and whoever, they will. And the sad part is that they don't give back. So they're basically like vampires. They take, they don't give back. And on Mother's Day, let's face it, you want to be acknowledged. You're a mother. You gave birth to this baby. You fed your daughter. You schooled her. You put a lot of love into her. You put your heart and soul into your daughter. So it's absolutely okay that your daughters celebrate you. Okay, so now tell me, what does she want on Mother's Day?
My narcissistic mother?
Yeah, what does she want?
Whatever. This is the problem. Everything is so chaotic that they literally will not tell me until they want to wait until the last minute. I have siblings. The siblings are married, and the siblings also, again, are mothers. So they want to see what the competition of the in-laws have so they can figure out their strategy. We are going on Friday. These are people, if I ask them at 10 a.m. to do something, they need to get back to me to see if they can do something at 2 p.m. So they literally are leaving me in this limbo that I'm supposed to just jump.
Okay, so this is what
most likely they want me to go to their country club. But again, I don't know. They literally, they gave, I didn't even know that they were coming back in town until yesterday.
So one of the things narcissistic parents do is they set up sibling rivalry. Okay, do you notice that now?
Our siblings hate each other. It's horrible. Yeah.
No surprise there. Okay, because the more you guys hate each other and the more family feuding there is, the more important that they can be, because then they are the center of attention and you don't have side alliances other than them. Okay, so going back to what are you going to do? Okay, they're going to tell you last minute that they're going to probably go to the country club. Do you want to go to the country club?
No, because I've literally already thought that maybe my car isn't going to work. Like that, my frustration is I have worked with so many different therapists that say put out boundaries, and the more you put out boundaries, the worse it is. I always find that you have to have the only thing that gets me out of anything is to say we're sick. We're sick, the car broke down, something, because Anything less than that, I walk away emotionally exhausted, but also my child's schedule is completely thrown out and we're wrecked for like 2 days.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm already thinking that my car is.
You're ready to make okay, so you could make excuses. Your car's not working. I mean, that's one way, right? Okay, so people stress, they get sick that day, the car doesn't start. Unfortunately, something came up. Okay, so I want you to be at the cause of this thing, because I think what's really bugging you at the core of it is that you're always at the effect. You're always at the effect. So
well, this is my sister-in-law's first Mother's Day, and of course my siblings and I are not speaking, for whatever reasons, I don't even know. And so because it's my sister-in-law's first Mother's Day, they have made it very clear that they don't want me there. So that's another reason why things are being more hidden. So again, they're expecting me to work around my sister-in-law's decisions and then their decisions. And so it's even more hidden than normal because my parents cannot, my sister-in-law and brother have said they are not going, it's me or them. So my parents think, well, they're more important because there's in-laws and they want to compete. I don't have in-laws. So that's what's making it even worse this year because they won't be honest. We're going to spend time with them. This is your spot even.
So what you're saying is that you may not even be invited, right?
Oh, I already know I'm not invited, but it's my sister-in-law has a new baby that's a year old. It's her first Mother's Day. So I'm really being left in the dark as to how the expectations, because there's that hope that my mother will always say things, can you just apologize so they'll invite you? Can you just do this? And it is so fractured at this point that she has trouble accepting this. So I'm waiting for they want you to do this, this, and this to apologize. And then maybe you can come for an hour, but they get most of our time.
So look, I know your other therapists have mentioned boundaries, but let's look at it a different way. Okay, let's look at it as being the cause. What do you want to do on Mother's Day?
Honestly, I just want to be with my daughter. My daughter is fortunately smart enough that she literally when my mother acts up and treats her the same way that she treats me. My mother always threatens my daughter, I'm going to hang up on you. My daughter does it first. So my daughter is smart.
So what do you stand?
She doesn't enjoy being around my mother.
All right. So what do you stand to lose by simply not playing, even if last minute they say, we want you there? What do you have to lose?
They'll be bringing a bunch of flying monkeys. My dad will start in. Just again, they will hurt me, or they'll try and go after my daughter to make it seem as though we've done something wrong by not bowing down to the matriarch.
Okay, so
I'm just expecting an emotional tantrum.
Okay. So look, you have no invitation, correct?
That is correct.
It's already Thursday. Most people plan Mother's Day days in advance. So as far as you're concerned, you're not invited. Okay? So I'm saying this to you this way because I really want you to feel like you're the cause, not at the effect. And so if the invitation comes, you could say, oh, I had no idea that this was going on, which is truth. You had no idea because you weren't not invited yet. So you could say to them, well, geez, I really genuinely had no idea. So I made other plans.
Then I can tell you what they will say. You should have known that we were going to spend it. You should have asked. So I will get really nasty behavior towards me. And this has gone on my whole life, but it will be, you know, again, I will get the guilt trip. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be around. And even if I say that, it's like I grew up with a mother who would always, if things didn't work in her favor, she told us to lie. Don't tell your father what I bought. Don't do this. So literally, it's sad, but that's what I feel like. Do I have to lie to make myself comfortable, or if I tell the truth, am I going to deal with more of a tantrum?
Look, it sounds like either way you lose. Okay, there's a no-win situation.
Correct.
If you go, it's not going to be very pleasant. If you don't go, it's not going to be very pleasant. So either way, you lose. Okay, so
correct.
Let's start there. So then you might as well win. I'm just playing. I'm teaching you how to play a better game of life. Okay, you go, you lose.
I'm interested. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just being because I'm a systems thinker, and my commitment is be the cause of a better outcome to your life. So the better outcome is for you to be the cause of Mother's Day in this case. Okay, you have no invite. Mm-hmm. You haven't insulted anybody by rejecting them. If you get an invite tonight or whatever, then if you feel like it, you could show up. If you don't feel like it, you don't show up. And I don't even think you necessarily have to lie. You just talk. What about truth? What about the truth? I already made plans. I didn't hear from you guys. Yes, you're going to get backlash. Well, you should have this, that. You just, yeah, just say.
You have to understand, but they will continue to harass me, and they are the type of people that literally will call up my therapist and complain about me as if my therapist is treating them. And I am 50 years old. So I mean, their boundaries are poor. It's poor.
Listen, I got it. They're flying monkeys. They want to go back behind your back, but it's impossible for your therapist to ethically take that call. Okay? It's not possible.
No, she doesn't. That's the thing. She doesn't. But what I'm saying is this is the type of behavior. So it's just so ongoing. And there's that part of me that feels guilty that I should do this because I've had to get rid of friends that said you only have one mother.
Okay, so
that's what scares me too.
Okay, so let's deal with the guilt. Okay, all right. Let's just give them a token of guilty acknowledgement. Okay, how about this? It's now Thursday. Flowers. Happy Mother's Day. Love you. Hope you're having a great time with, whatever you're doing today. It's your special day, and I just want to acknowledge you for this special day. And that should arrive either Saturday night or Sunday morning.
If I do that, yell at me and tell me she doesn't like them.
Okay.
She hates every gift I get her.
You presented me with the challenge, okay? The challenge is that you feel guilty, right? You feel guilty. And so I'm trying to come up with something that will assuage your guilt.
If my daughter will draw a picture and I take a picture or video, that might work.
Okay, so
that might appease.
So that'll be your little guilt token, because I get it. It's very, very painful to go no contact. Now, I have a question about the future. So, you know how I asked you about what's in it for you to please them or march to their tune? I'm wondering if there is a threat of knocking you out of the inheritance. Is there?
Not by them. They're, my siblings are trying to. So it's basically, I don't think my parents will do it, but my siblings are doing everything possible to try and convince them that I should be knocked out.
Okay, so are you trying to march to a good behavior tune so that you have a sense of control over your inheritance destiny? Is that part of it?
It's more that I'm trying to, at this point, just balance what I can for my daughter, since these are her only grandparents. And so really, but I would say that my main concern is I have found, I'm Jewish, and I found a lot of Jewish people put on this guilt so I can be somewhere. And if, everyone will pick on me and say, you only have one mother, like they know that there's a tumultuous situation.
As you notice, Dr. Judy Rosenberg, how could I not be Jewish with a name like that? Okay, so,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Jewish guilt, okay, but this is beyond Jewish guilt. This is manipulative, narcissistic behavior that comes from a sense of apathy, really, because it doesn't sound like, Jewish guilt usually has a sense of, I really care about you, then you better care about me. But in this case, I don't see where the care is. So this is on the side of narcissism. So if you really, really want, I'll tell you how I would play the cards, and then I want to hear how you play it out. I think what I would do, I would want to be the cause, because this is your day and it's your daughter's day for you. You do have a mother and she does have a grandmother. So I would do something for grandma, something for mom, but I would put myself and my daughter first. So you see, I would just build the system differently. Instead of putting her at the top of the pyramid, okay? I'm not saying don't put her somewhere, because I don't think you're going to be able to do it. Put her somewhere over here, but not over here. So Mother's Day should, let's say, be 80, 90% you and your daughter. Go take her out, ask her what she wants to do, go take her to whatever activity you guys enjoy together, and then leave like a slice of Mother's Day for Mommy Dearest, okay? And if she pops in and says, hey, we're here, where are you? You could say, oh, we're having a lovely day, your granddaughter and I, and then you could send her a bunch of selfies and, hi, happy Mother's Day, and kisses from the granddaughter. And then if you feel like stopping by, make it really happy, make it really brief, bring the flowers.
They live too far to make it work without plans in advance.
Well, then
so that's the only good news.
I'm sorry. Sorry, they missed it. Okay, they missed the opportunity, because that's narcissism. They don't consider you. You have to plan such a trip.
Yeah.
If it's too far, you have to plan it. And don't you know they know that? So, this is a setup. It's like a gaslight. Oh, we want you to come for Mother's Day. We won't tell you where it is. We won't tell you what time it is. And then if you don't come, then you're a horrible daughter. Okay, do you see the setup? Do you get it?
Oh, I absolutely. It's one of the reasons I stopped posting on social media, because I didn't want them to know what was going on.
Okay, but I think
so I
no,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part. Yeah,
I just think that you.
No, I agree with everything you're saying about the setup, and I agree with everything. Everything. I think this, like, again, I literally want to hide from other people, because I will get flying monkeys of people I thought were my friends who can't understand why I can't just do this one thing. And I'm not asking for their opinion, nor am I talking about my mess.
Right, but
I feel like that's the scary part.
Okay, but the truth
is I feel like people will involve themselves. So it's like almost like I want to hang out with my daughter, but hide from anybody else to say anything. And maybe some of it too is these people feel entitled to tell this to me because I am a single mom. That, I don't know if that's another piece puzzle.
Okay, so the other flying monkeys, we just don't have that many control buttons about what other people say and do. If you said to them, geez, I would have loved to have gone, I didn't get an invitation, or the invitation came so last minute and we were far away, we were already at a cool theater or movie or whatever you guys are doing, would that help you to give them some?
Probably to be prepared like that, yes.
So maybe you should prepare a little bit. But
So,
again, my motto to myself, which I want to repeat on every show because it's that important. It's not what people do to you. It's what you do with what they do to you. Understand? So I'll repeat it again. It's not what other people do to you. It's what you do with what other people do to you.
I thank you so much for saying some of these things because these holidays are very triggering.
Of course.
And and I have, the fact that I have two narcissistic parents, it's been very hard to come to terms with how much my mother set me up because I always thought she was the better parent because my dad was so malignant. And now some of the stuff I see now was a setup.
Look, there's a wish. There's a deep, deep wish in everyone's heart that their parents be parents. And we don't get lucky all the time. Some of our parents are not parental. And although we may call them mom or dad, sometimes they don't earn the title of mom or dad. And when they're narcissistic and they're not putting your feelings first, it's really, really hard to come through for them because you're basically, again, feeling vampired. You're giving to the taker, okay? And you're giving to the gaslighter, and that never feels good. So this Mother's Day, I really want you to challenge yourself and remember my words. It's not what people do to you, because they're going to be narcissistic. You're not going to change this. This is a system gone wrong. Their parents injured them, and people often think that I'm trying to blame the parents. No, I'm saying that let's connect the dots, and there's a cause behind their narcissism and their parents' narcissism. However, ultimately, we have to hold people responsible for their behavior, okay? And by that, I mean that we have to look out for ourselves, and we can't play into their deck of cards. And on Mother's Day, you're the mom, your daughter's your daughter. She wants to acknowledge you. She has a right to acknowledge grandma. She can write grandma a beautiful card, and even you can write a song to her and sing it out on your you take a video of it and say, I'm thinking of you, love you, happy Mother's Day to you, whatever you want to say, okay? And there's you've done your good deed, okay? And whatever they want to do with it, if they want to say you didn't do it loud enough, you didn't use the right words, listen, they're what you can expect is they're going to tear it apart, because narcissists, they're not capable of taking love in anyways. They're just not capable. They're not capable of giving the light. They're not capable of receiving the light because they squander the light. Even if they get the light, it goes into that deep, dark hole and falls through the bottomless pit. And then they just need more and more and more. And if you're a nice, guilty Jewish girl, right, then they incentivize you to just keep feeding it, and they'll keep gaslighting you with more Jewish guilt, and then you'll feed it more, and it's a never-ending cycle. And now I'm asking you to seriously think about exiting this system in your own creative, nice style. It doesn't have to be mean.
It was really eye-opening to see that my mother, does not get along with her other grandchildren, she has other granddaughters, and it's the same behavior. And so it was very helpful to see that no matter it was my daughter's personality, her other granddaughter's personality, nothing was ever right. Well, and so it took a lot of that self-blame. And I'm like, anybody's personality didn't work.
Look, that's your evidence, okay? And I think that you need that kind of evidence to say, well, it's not only my perception, it's other people's perception. And children are very perceptive. And so they know who they like, they know who they don't like. And so they could feel her goodwill or lack of goodwill, or her coldness or manipulation. But I think you've got to establish where you feel that you've done your duty, and then let it go. Okay? The card, the flowers,
Thank
the
you.
song, that's it, period. And then whatever they want to do with it is what they do with it. And you have zero control. And after they do with it what they want, which is demean, devalue, destroy, and discard you, you can just say, oh, well, I knew that was happening. And I know that if I went to the party or dropped everything and drove all the way there, I'd be tired, I'd be resentful, and I'd get a nice swift kick in the butt anyway. So what's the difference? So you might as well have it your way.
Very
right?
true.
Okay, so I hope that
yes.
was...
Why do you... No, that was great. I have one quick question. Like Jennifer Aniston's somebody that we've always heard does not get along with her mother. Why do you think society is so hard on women if they don't get along with their mothers? I just recall growing up and watching.
I don't know her history, and I haven't been following her, but I think most people can't really believe that people think that way. So one of the terms that I use, and I've been guilty of this, is positive projection. So I will positively project in the past on narcissists that they're nice, amazing, honest people. And then I'll be shocked that they lie or cheat, or I'll be shocked that they are out of integrity. And so I don't think that most people think that people think that way. Okay, so we just treat them as if they don't think that way. So let's say Jennifer Aniston and her mother, not everyone's familiar with what happened. I don't myself know what happened, but there must be a reason why she's disconnected from her mother. And until people understand what's going on there, there's a projection on that situation that goes something like, but she's her mother. How could she say that? Or how could she do that? It's a little deeper than that. You've got to understand the system gone wrong. You've got to understand all the disconnects. You've got to understand the nature of their relationship or lack thereof. And then you can see it from a different angle. But from this angle, it just looks like, what a bad daughter. And I think that's what your family's trying to do to you, is like, what a bad daughter. She's not visiting her mother. Wow. So you've been framed. Happy Mother's Day. If that's what's going on, you've been framed. Okay. So take the frame off of yourself and enjoy your daughter. And because of the guilt, give her some kind of a token of acknowledgement and allow your daughter to celebrate her in whatever way she wants. But just please don't drop the day and wait there for her last minute invitation that's actually a booby trap to walk into. And then, as I said, be demeaned, devalued, and destroyed. What's that all about for you, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's so helpful to hear all these stories, because I had no words for what was going on when I was growing up.
Okay, and most of us don't, because we're confused. Like, why did mom say that? I must be a bad girl. Why did mom not help me with my homework. Oh, maybe she whatever, we always excuse the mother. We always excuse. And so when you look at it from the point of view of you have enough evidence, you know enough about narcissism now, right? You've heard my words today, you've listened to other videos, I'm sure, and read my book. And then soon I'll have a healing system on video, Healing from Narcissistic Abuse, which I really, really want to produce properly. And then you're going to see how these disconnects absolutely create the guilt and the shame and the feeling of betrayal and the sibling rivalry and the system gone wrong and the constant gaslighting. So it's just like, that's why I call it the what the Freud. So don't step into what the Freud land, okay?
I'm going to keep your words in my head as I deal with things this weekend.
Good.
So
good.
I really putting me on your show.
Okay, and have a wonderful Mother's Day. And you're the mom, and your daughter is the one who is going to be honoring you. And of course, you're honoring her because she made you a mom, right? So have fun with her, enjoy her, and remember, your mother and your father are way down there in terms of priority, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling in. Take care. Okay, I really appreciated that call. I hope everyone learned something from that conversation. And no matter what you do, they're just impossible to please. So don't try to please them. Do whatever makes you feel good about yourself. So it's not what they do, it's what you do with what they do. So what is a mother? A mother is somebody who is nurturing, somebody who puts your feelings as priority, someone who's connected, somebody who doesn't abandon you, somebody who has your back, okay? So if your mother is the mother who gave you all of those emotional goodies in life, like eye contact, skin contact, connection, mirroring, attunement, staying at home and being with you and providing you with a solid foundation, she is to be congratulated, okay? Because that's a mother. And if you weren't fortunate enough to have that kind of mother, if your mother was a human disconnect and she lacked empathy, and then you had a father who lacked empathy too, well, I call that the double dungeon of darkness effect, because you can't turn to your mother, you can't turn to your father, you can't even turn to yourself because you doubt your own mind, because at this point they've gaslighted you so hard that you're confused and you don't even know what's up, down, left or right. So you can't turn to you. So then you're sort of trapped in there. So free yourself from the double dungeon of darkness by getting psychoeducated, and do download a copy of my book. I also have a mind map video series that you can avail yourself of and purchase. It comes with obviously a PDF of my book and a journal and the video. I break down the mind map and connect the dots for you so that you can see how we can take a system gone wrong and flip it around. And for Mother's Day, maybe this is something that, well, I should dare say, if you have a narcissistic mother, probably she won't want to take in any kind of advice or therapy because they have very hardened shells. The narcissistic defense has a wall. If you've noticed, it's a thick wall and it's impenetrable. And whatever you say will bounce off of that wall. So if you feel that you've been abandoned, betrayed, gaslit, disconnected from, treated with cruelty and apathy, then please heal yourself. And we have wonderful people on the staff, and you can avail yourself of their services. I intend to have webinars in the future. Once my video series is released, I want to do a webinar that I lead called Healing from Narcissistic Abuse. and then you can jump on into the webinar and do the work with me. Otherwise, I'm available individually, and of course, I have team members who also are, and you can always call us for a free consultation. So for those of you who do have people who are suffering from narcissistic abuse because of their narcissistic mothers or fathers, pay it forward. Please send them my links to my video, YouTube, book, etc., and they can subscribe to my channel. And in the meantime, for those of you who are celebrating Mother's Day, just remember, put yourselves first. Put yourself first. And if your mother never put you first, then if you feel guilty about it and want to give her a little something, do it for you. Don't expect too much back. And again, you celebrate it any which way you want, whether it's with or without her, because I know that there are people who have such evil mothers that they can't even fathom making any sort of contact with them. And those people have obviously gone no contact. So choose how you want to spend your Mother's Day, and understand that narcissism is a nasty system gone wrong. And just because it's Mother's Day, don't expect her to become an empathic, loving, and giving mother. This narcissistic system has gone on a long time, probably before you were born. Okay, and what you could do about it is break the cycle by healing yourself so that you become the best of your best, and then you pay it forward to the next generation, family, and friends, and that you live a life of synergy. And that would be panel number 7, which is a representation of the giving and the receiving. So when you give love to somebody and they receive it and they give love back to you, then it creates a third entity or light. And that's the kind of relationships we should all strive to be in. And that's the win-win game of life. That is the best game of life, is to be with people who are growth partners, be with people who have your back, and be with people who are evolving with you. So for those of you who are mothers, happy Mother's Day. For those of you who have narcissistic mothers, remember to please put yourselves first. Good night, everyone.